Held for 4 days in a steaming lifeboat with Somali pirates aiming AK-47s at his head, Captain Richard Phillips' story of pirates and a heroic Navy SEAL rescue at sea is the stuff of legend. After the incident, Phillips' publisher promoted him as a sea captain who risked his life, offering himself as hostage in exchange for the safety of his crew. In the 13 months since the incident, Phillips was invited to the White House, threw out the first pitch at a Boston Red Sox game, and was lauded for his bravery as he toured the country pushing his book, A Captain's Duty.
I want to thank this man for doing such a great job for us.
But throughout all of this hero's tour, his crew, the 19 men he commanded on the Maersk Alabama, has been far less public about the events until now. Now, as Phillips prepares to go back to sea for the first time since his ship was attacked, most of his former crew is speaking, and they tell a different version of the story of what happened on the high seas.
Do you think this guy's a fit captain?
I think that it certainly warrants an investigation. I just want an investigation for this to be looked at properly before that man winds up going back to sea on another ship and endangering somebody else.
These days, Mike Parry rides his motorcycle to the local Merchant Marine Union Hall looking for work. A year ago in the Indian Ocean, he was the chief engineer, the third ranking officer on board the Maersk Alabama when pirates attacked.
We vowed we were going to take it to our grave. We weren't going to say anything. Then we hear this PR stuff coming out about him giving himself up, and we said, and he's still hostage. And the whole crew's like, what? Everybody's in shock.
Parry isn't the only crew member who says Phillips was no hero. John Cronin was the third engineer. Abu Tahir Mohammed Reza, who goes by the name ATM, was an able-bodied seaman. They are among 16 of the 19 crewmen who have formed a Facebook page, Alabama Shipmates, to present their side of the story. Each says the captain's book version of the pirate attack is, in a word, wrong. Not only that, they claim their captain knew he was leading all of them into harm's way. Phillips says his preparations went beyond the industry standard.
When you started doing your own digging, you found the warnings. The Maersk Alabama had been warned?
Well, all ships have been warned. When I went back to the ship, the crew that was on there at that time had collected them all, and I reviewed them all, and then I went up and had the mates plot them on the chart.
Parry is talking about these 7 emails sent to all ships in the area, and one specifically to Captain Phillips and the Maersk Alabama by a private maritime security agency. Each email, based on information from British and U.S. naval authorities, urges the Alabama to steer clear, very clear, of the shipping lane where Phillips was heading. But despite the emails, and even after an unsuccessful pirate attack, the crew says Phillips did not change course.
He was advised to change course by competent deck officers, and he overruled them. Stay on course, make our ETA, stay on the same course.
The Alabama was on a course from Oman to Mombasa, Kenya, and about 300 miles off the Somali coast. These warnings advised Captain Phillips to move much further offshore.
All those messages recommended that the vessels in the area stay outside 600 miles.
Did you?
To my knowledge, we would have been, but no, we weren't.
Captain Richard Phillips, fresh from his book tour and very near the day he returns to sea, sat down with CNN to answer the men who are now his critics, his own crew. They claim he lied in this book and is potentially dangerous to any future crew members who may sail with them.
To a man, those we talked to feel very slighted by you, sir.
Well, there's not much I can say. I agree with him. The media made everything out to be me, but that's the media. When I came home, I really didn't go and put myself in front of the media. A lot of my crew did. I didn't.
Captain Richard Phillips is not used to criticism. Even though a lawsuit has been filed by some members of his crew against the shipping company for creating a near disaster at sea, he says that this interview is the first he's heard of their specific complaints, questioning his judgment and even his reasoning.
The complaint is that there were specific emails sent to your ship stressing the need to go further out to sea.
Yeah, so on something like that, we will deal with that in the arena that they wish, and that's the court. That's what this is based on.
We showed him excerpts of CNN interviews with his ex-crew, including the third engineering officer on board the Maersk Alabama, John Cronin.
Let me play you just because I don't think you've seen these crew members since they've left your ship.
Unbeknownst to us at the time, Captain Phillips had been warned at least 9 times via email from competent authorities to get that ship further offshore, hundreds of miles further offshore.
Why would he say that?
I have no idea.
Is it true?
There are warnings put out. I don't know what authorities he's talking about. He doesn't say.
Well, I have the emails.
Yeah?
You've seen the emails.
I haven't
You
seen
got
emails
them,
since
right?
I've been on the ship.
But you were warned to go further out to sea.
You warned to stay clear of an area, yeah?
And you didn't.
We come from Djibouti, which is on the north side of Somalia, which is right next to Somalia. We're going to Mombasa, which is on the south side. So we're in the area. We were almost 300 miles out during our incident.
We checked U.S. Navy records of the incident. They indicate Phillips about 380 miles off the Somali coast. And remember, the emails warned about pirates and urged captains to stay 600 miles off the coast. The Maersk Alabama received a radio warning from the pirates themselves, saying they're coming for his ship. That was followed by an approach by pirates in a swift boat. The Alabama avoided that approach. 3 days later, on the morning of April 8th, able-bodied seaman Abu Tahir Mohammed Reza, who goes by the name ATM, says he saw the first signs of trouble.
And you saw the boat.
Yeah, I saw the boat 3 miles from the starboard quarter.
The boat was small, white, and fast, with men sitting up straight, holding what appeared to be guns.
Did you think, oh no, they're coming and this time they're coming fast?
I was pretty sure. I was 10%. I was pretty sure there's pirates boats. But I talked to the captain. I showed him, Captain, I'm damn sure this is pirate boats. He laughed at me. He told me it could be fishing boats. And he walked away from me.
He ignored you.
He ignored me. Completely, he's ignored me.
I question that. I'm not someone who laughs a lot. I think if you ask my crew, do I laugh a lot and tell jokes? I think the majority will say no. So to be put in that situation and to say I'd laughed?
Did you blow off the first potential warning?
No. You don't blow off any warnings.
Mike Perry, the ship's chief engineer, says it wasn't just warnings ignored. He believes Captain Richard Phillips is dangerous.
He doesn't heed the email warnings telling him to go further out to sea. After the second attempt on the boat, he doesn't stay the course, which is to go further out to sea.
Right.
He doesn't lock the bridge when the pirates are attacking. And then
When they're known to have been on board. They were on board, and even at that point, he didn't lock them.
and what you're telling me is, I mean, your hunch is that he wanted to be captured, that he wanted the boat to be taken by pirates.
That's what many of us officers were saying to ourselves.
Did you want to stay with the pirates for some reason?
No. I think you're forgetting they had weapons.
Phillips says much of the criticism is driven by human nature. Some by a lawsuit some members of the crew have filed against the shipping company, and fueled by a press that he says wanted a hero captain who saved his crew. A good story.
The media got everything wrong. I don't know how I could control this when I'm in a lifeboat and the media is saying I gave myself up for it. In the book, if you read it, have you read the book?
I did, I read it.
So you know I didn't give myself up. I was already a hostage by them.
He says the real heroes are the ones he dedicated his book to, the Navy SEALs, and yes, the merchant mariners he sailed with. And despite their criticism of him, Captain Phillips says the crew of the Maersk Alabama stayed calm, followed orders and instincts, and prevented a tragedy.
Do you give the crew
Much credit for your survival?
Do I give the crew much credit for the incident?
For your survival.
For my survival in on the Maersk Alabama? Yes, they did a wonderful job. It's in the book. Everywhere I speak, I say what a great job they did.
Captain Richard Phillips returns to sea next month.